Oh, wow. I can tell you right now, honestly, I've had a day. And I particularly want to start off with talking about what today was about. It's 7:15 right here on January the 23rd. It's Be Exposed Radio. You're on the Talk Lately show with me, your host Monny, and my panelist. That's what I'll call her today. Chastity, Chaz Real, the Lady Empress Cake Mix.
Okay, almost
Did I say it
together.
right? Did I
Okay,
say it right?
it's Chastity. You got Chastity together, but it's Chas. Break it down. Let's do it together. Chas, Real, the Empress, Lady Cake Mix. My pleasure,
That's what I
morning.
said. That's what I said. I said Chastity.
Yeah, you say the Lady Empress, Lady, and all that, but it's all of that, morning. My pleasure to be coming through. What it do? What it is to be talking to you this evening.
Just in case you ever wanted to get in contact with me, there's my information right there below. My Instagram is Talk Lately BXR, and my email is tls@beexposedradio.com. So like I said, I've had a day today. And it's so interesting that it wasn't like an eventful day. It was all involving conversations having to deal with politics, a little bit of religion, and the lack of involvement. It was a disappointing conversation. Let me just say that too. It was very disappointing. So I'm not going to call the person out and say their name or anything like that because that's just not my MO. I know this is Be Exposed Radio, but I would rather have those people, that person in particular, be able to come on and discuss their position if they choose to. They don't have to, but if they choose to, I would like to, if they ever were willing. I'm sorry.
Well, being exposed, is all right to expose the situation.
All right, no, that's what I said. I'm gonna talk
Because I'm
about the
sure.
situation.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna expose the person in particular. Hold on, I don't think my volume is up right. Hello.
But
Can you hear
yeah,
me?
I know. I thought you
Um,
was a little low.
was I? Okay, let me fix that real quick. Give me a second.
Yeah, but I be having phone trouble, so I ain't want to blame it on the audio over here.
Is that better?
But money,
Is that
it's
better?
not good to hear that. Yes, it is.
Okay. Because it's just it wasn't good for me to be involved in that conversation today, especially getting ready for a show because that took up all of my time with trying to plan out this show, and it was just a very intriguing conversation to have on a Tuesday, and so let me just tell you what the gist of the conversation was. This particular person, I started the conversation off with. Matter of fact, it's one of my stories tonight. So let me go into that story first, and then we can go into that in particular. So this guy decided not to run anymore. So I basically brought up the conversation because of the hypocrisy that we continuously see in our election process, and it befuddles me to think that we, in this day and age, in 2024, the words that are coming out of your mouth are not effective enough to disqualify you from being endorsed by another stupid idiot. Now, this idiot in particular is Ron DeSantis, whatever you want to call him. I don't call him anything because I don't use. But this man in particular, just gave up his run for presidency. He suspended his campaign or whatever the case may be. But
biggest king on the moon. That's what he is.
Yeah, and throughout this entire campaign, they had been going back and forth with the insults. And I always tantamount to every time you say something about me in a public atmosphere, that's like you want me dead. That's how I feel, right? And this person right here, the one that's on the screen, has always said that Trump is not qualified or is not fitted to be president. But yet you're endorsing. If he's not fit to be president, how can you turn about and be saying that you're going to end your campaign and then endorse the one that you said is not fit to be president?
Now that you're now that you're no longer the opponent, you're no longer in the campaign.
Do you believe that he's fit to be president? That's my question. And I haven't heard
Mm,
anybody ask him that question. So since all this time you've been running, you say he's not fit to be president again. Now all of a sudden you're endorsing him. So now do you believe that he's fit to be president again? Is that what you're telling us? So all along you've been telling your constituents, the people that were voting for you to be president, that he wasn't fit. Are they now
mm,
on his bandwagon and disregard all the words you've been saying up until now?
Well, I'm gonna say it in the shortest terms. Make it make sense, because this type of thinking and hypocrisy is not making America great again.
Because the only
Because
person that I've seen so far in this campaign structure that has been having has said what he said from the beginning and has had the backbone to keep that
yes, he
same
is.
stance is Chris Christie. Chris
Hmm.
Christie is not endorsing none of them, let alone Trump. He's not endorsing any of them to be president,
Right.
and I
And
respect
Ron,
that of him.
in the same way that Ron was making statements about Trump, Trump, of course, was not quiet in his dismay and his dislike for Ron
Mm-hmm.
DeSantis. So it's baffling to me how they just continue to do things like this, Monty, and kind of,
But what
just
is the
play in your
constituent
face.
mindset now? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is now the constituent mindset when they have to deal with this? And when now you see the true colors of the candidate that you chose, and he's showing you that he's going to backtrack whenever it's necessary or he deems fit for his own purposes. Because the only reason why he's running, that he's endorsing Trump now, is that if he becomes the candidate of choice, and then if he wins the presidency, he's going to want his backing for if he runs for another
Mm.
term as governor.
And guess what? And then too, how they was thinking now that he's backing him, they was thinking at all who would be Trump's running
Was this
mate. Like
his
who
second
would
term?
be
Was this his first term or second term as governor? I don't even know if they got a statute for.
who's that? Ron?
Yeah,
I'm not even sure, Monty. Good question.
I'm looking it up now. Is there term limits for Florida governor? Okay, so this might be his last term in presidential bid. How long? I'm trying to see. Is this his second
Okay,
term?
so Ron is basically trying to get in where he fit in, and
Yeah, he only can run two
apparently, I
terms.
guess
I
his
don't know if
lean.
this is his second term or not. But if this is his second term as governor, he can't run again. So the president was his last, basically
Yes,
staying
Ron
in
trying to get
power.
in where he fit in, and just like I said, it's just not making sense because you are right. He definitely was very vocal about Trump definitely not being the one
Right. That's what
to
I'm
be in
trying to
the
say.
presidency. He definitely, what is it? Like disassociated himself from Trump because he had been a supporter of him before. And vice versa. But I guess when he became his opponent, it changed the whole dialogue and the whole what they were saying. So now that you're not in the campaign, now you telling me. And I just would like to, like how you said, you would like to know from him. I would like to know from the people who follow Ron DeSantis and supporters of him, how y'all feel. So y'all gonna run back over there too?
Yeah. Are y'all gonna
Y'all
now
know that
because y'all joined his
it's
rally and
so
his speech
phony.
because y'all didn't think he was a fit president either. So that's why you was trying to back Ron DeSantis. Now, what does that mean for you? Do you go to him? Do you go follow him and support the crook that he is? Like how do you benefit? How do you get? What are you looking for in this
How do
election?
you explain that?
How do you explain that?
How do you explain that, Ron? Look, I'm just calling him Ron.
Just ask
Ron,
him out. Just ask him. How do you explain that, sir?
How do you explain that? See, you just as fake as that. What they were saying. Remember, they were saying Ron had them fake soles in the
Yeah,
shoes.
he still do his little platform.
but, but that is just so fake. If I was at all a supporter of them and that party, or even just not even the party affiliation, just support of Ron or Trump or whatever, I definitely would be
Because
questioning
how
that
much proof do
inside.
you need to
And
see when somebody blatantly lies to your face? How much more do you need?
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
blatant. He's
say
blatantly
it.
lying to your face. He is just telling you right outright that he ain't worth anything. He's worth nothing. His word means nothing. That's exactly what I'm hearing now. Your word means nothing. Everything that you stomped all over that campaign trail on meant nothing.
Nothing.
Because I'm willing to just drop
Especially
everything that I
especially for
believe
you to
in
go
to endorse this
especially for
man.
you to go and backtrack like that and then say your endorsement is for Trump.
Right.
And then the other one that is on your Republican Party, who was that Nikki Haley, who did not speak ill of you at all, although being your opponent, you see, and he had this back and forth with him and Trump. You come right out and blast this lady, and then the person that you were blasting the whole time while you were running as an opponent, now you backing them?
Hmm.
That's your endorsement?
It's
See,
weird.
I keep on saying it over and over, Money, because I was trying to understand. Like, guys, that's really what happened. That's really what happened.
It's really, really weird. It's really, really weird. And I just found it in awe that I haven't heard too much, even in the media sphere, about people actually stepping up to say something about it. Like what? Like Ron, what's wrong with you? Didn't he? Wasn't he trying to destroy you? Like that is so
Right.
weird to me. Like
And that's the
it
point
doesn't
that I was
matter. We're
gonna
in the
get on
same
too.
party. Let
It's
me
like
back him.
and that's the point that I was gonna get on too, Money, far as like even in that like who would be Trump's runner, far as his vice president, because the way he did Pence,
Mhm.
I
I would
baby,
be weary. I would
you
definitely
might
be weary.
die. You
Right.
might die.
If he was gonna let him stay on that hill,
He was what
he was gonna
happened?
burn
Wait
with
a
everybody
minute.
else.
Right. He ain't even want Pence to put up a fence. A
Mm.
defense fence. Come on now. Come on now. Okay,
I
Ron.
asked
Now you
this
back
poll
over here on this
question.
Trump train.
That just leads
And
me to this question because I asked this poll question on in our Be Exposed Live group. What did I do with that question? Shoot. I know it's here in somewhere.
the follow up from last week. I don't know exactly how you worded it, but what do you want?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm presented as a new question for this week because I know that was the homework I gave out last week on last week's show. But this week's show, the homework is still going to be same question. Do you know what you want out of society as it pertains to you being a citizen of the United States of America? Do you know what you want? Can you verbalize what you want for yourself that the government or any agency that has an elected official can provide to you that you have not discussed with said representative or in some kind of town hall meeting, in some kind of any kind of setting, like I said, town hall or some kind of setting that you have actually said, this is what I need for me to fulfill my mission in life.
Hmm.
Because I don't think anybody ever
See,
asks
and that's
themselves that
the
question.
right,
And they got a whole
and
bunch
that's
of
the big
opinions about everything else.
right,
They do
and
not
that's the
have
big
anything that they want.
question. That is a big question. And the way you answer it, Mon, the way you ask it, shall I
Mhm.
say, it seems so simple, because it's like, okay, what do you want? Because like we discuss so many times, people are always saying what they want, but what really do you want? So it's the question sounds so simple. But
Doesn't
when
it?
you ask that question, right?
Everybody is
And in all
always stumped.
honesty,
Everybody is
right.
always stumped on that question. Like
And
you
I'm
always
stumped. And if
say,
somebody
it,
was right
it
here
brings it to the point
today
of
and
this.
tomorrow and could change it around for me and say, Chess, what do you want?
Because it
I
brings it to the
don't.
point of this. It brings it to my point of this. Everybody is right now in the midst of trying to decide who they're going to vote for in this coming election. But in this coming election, we're going to be down to two opponents: Trump and probably Biden, if the Supreme Court doesn't rule that he's not, qualified to run, right? So when we're down to that, so now everybody's trying to judge what Biden has done over the past 4 years, and trying to make it into a bad report card. When in actuality, this current president that we have, there has been no other president that has done more than any other president before him that has done more to fix things or to have bills passed than this current president. And that's sad that no one seems to know that, because what I do believe is that this administration has a bad has done a bad job at touting their own accomplishments, because they have done more in this one administration than any other administration has ever done. That has been proven. But they haven't been able to verbalize that for where people can understand that that's what's happened, because we're at a lock right now because they don't have control of the House anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even still, they still are getting some stuff done. Like what just happened just recently. I just saw a bill just passed. I can't remember what that bill was right at the moment on the top of my head, but a bill had just passed, and that's with a Republican House and a Democratic Senate. So stuff is still happening, even though they don't have complete control. That hasn't happened in years. Remember when Obama was in office, they said he wasn't doing nothing, and they would not pass laws. The only thing they were passing was resolutions to keep the government open. But they weren't passing anything new as far as legislation is concerned, because of Mitch McConnell and his thumb face. But
thumbs up or thumbs down.
So this is all leading to this conversation that I was having with this young person today, who decided to no longer participate in voting in any American elections.
Whoa.
Which led me to ask the question, well, why not? Like what? And basically to say, why not? And then why are you still paying taxes? Because that's what you're paying for, basically. I always equate it to that. If I'm paying taxes, I'm paying for my opportunity to vote. And if I'm going to pay taxes, I want to make sure my vote counts into the ways of the things that I need, that I want. So it's like certain things that I do say I don't qualify to vote for that, but I will investigate it and then probably try to do like a survey of the people around me that may want that. And then to see that is out, it might not matter to me, but it might matter to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
When I'm working full time. Social services doesn't matter to me as much as it might matter to you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you might be on it. If you're on it, then it matters.
But legitimately, if you look at it in hindsight, that's how things come about that we do vote about. You know what I mean?
Stuff that you've actually had a chance to participate in. Like, you would think, if you're thinking about it, in a logistical manner, that if I'm talking about Social Security and I'm paying into Social Security, that matters to me, that money is going to be there when I'm ready to retire, because I've been paying into it all my damn life. So if you're talking about taking it away, I ain't trying to hear that. Because you owe me my money back. That was supposed to be there for me from when I retire. That's the whole point of Social Security. It's not meant to sustain government. It's not meant to pay for any other governmental programs. It's not meant to build the buildings that they keep building with Social Security money. Okay? Let's talk about that. Now, if you want to talk about the waste of money, yes, let's talk about all these buildings they keep building. You motherfuckers can work from home.
Okay, let's talk about it.
But y'all keep building these big giant ass buildings to put these people in and collect all this damn paper. Why? You only need a building if you're trying to keep a whole bunch of paper. What you keeping it for? Scan it. So I'm just trying to, So I mean, I just went on a tangent about the Social Security Administration, but that's that little bit of waste that they do sometimes that we always see. Like I always, when I was living over by Wabash, I kept saying, "Wait a minute, why are they building the Social Security Administration building?" And then I drive by Woodlawn when they getting a whole entire fucking remodel with my money. Why? What you remodeling that building for? Move. You don't need a whole building. I would prefer you to move to another building than to build a new one.
Because everybody got to keep coming through.
That one in Woodlawn is super giant. That's a big ass building to do what? Push paper around? It ain't like cash is flowing through there.
Yeah, that's essentially what they doing. And they got records. And people
I'm just trying to figure. I never understood that. So I mean, that's one thing.
It's so much. It's so much human. It's so much human error in that administration. It's so much human error in that administration.
That's
Mm-mm.
not that, it's just a lot of waste. I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that we need to actually really be paying attention to, that we don't. But we it's just so much. It's just so much stupidity. I don't get it. So anyway, back to what I was saying about this person that told me they wasn't voting. So it just led me to the conversation of having like, so what is your purpose for being here? So me and Chastity was just having this discussion about basically, what is your purpose for being a citizen? Like, what do you hold dear about being in this country then? Because if you're talking about like, it was like the whole conversation was just like negative, like, damn, my vote don't count. It doesn't matter what I do. I said, so is that? I mean, I'm like generally like Karen, like, is that really how you feel? Do you not think anything has progressed since you've been alive with your vote? So you didn't see no positive returns out of your vote since you were born, since you started voting.
Right.
That's ridiculous to even
Or
think
you had the
this.
right to vote, which people had to fight for.
Right. I was
Well,
like,
that's the
everything that
point.
you do in your life is a supplement of a law that
Right.
was
And that's
allowing
just
you to
one
do
thing that
what.
I don't that's one thing that I don't get. Now, no, don't get me wrong. I know for various reasons people that say that they're not involved in the government and for whatever thing. I have my same speculations, my same things about the government, about these systems, and we often talk about it. But it's just so idiotic to me that to know that we had to be involved in these systems because we are citizens and really relinquish or forfeit your right to vote. To really
And
say
I find that to be very disrespectful
you're
to the
not
person.
going
And
to
you're
vote.
trying
That's
to
what I'm saying.
mention the
Like
people that
feel
came
I want to
before
feel
us. How can you disrespect them and the rights that they afforded you today? Like, how do you disrespect that whole entire lineage of people that was fighting for you to have this right to vote, and then you disrespect them by saying it don't matter?
right and respectfully, the things that we are voting on today affects the future. Just like how
And
our
then if you
ancestors fought for
and then the
us and
perfect
voted for
point of that,
certain
though,
things and right. And even though we may feel as though, and I get that, I think a lot of it, Money, sometimes has to do with that. Like people may feel as if their vote isn't impactful or something. If it doesn't go the way
but
they
then
want it to
that's
go, or
discounting the fact that you have to understand majority rules. It's not that your vote didn't count; you just didn't have enough votes. Now that's what you have to probably try to digest. If you maybe,
right,
like I said, but no one has an idea of what they want. Nobody does. You're letting these people that we prop up to be our politicians decide what you want versus you giving them exactly what you want, because your lack of participation is why we're in this situation. Your lack of
mm,
participation in figuring out who's going to go up for the ballot, the fact that all this money that y'all keep donating to these people and then they're not doing exactly what you want them to do because they don't know what you want. They don't know what you want. They're taking a
mm,
broad picture and a broad look at a broad world and seeing what is necessary to live. And they're not going off of what you want because you're not telling them anything. You're not telling them what you want because none of y'all can answer the question, what do you want? You don't know what you want.
right. But
If
even
you
on
took
the
the
other
time to
side
figure
of
out
that,
what
I
you
think I
need,
think that when people do know, I think it's that part too, just trying to get adjusted to understanding that just because you want it, someone else might not want it, and of
mm-hmm.
course what you want you may not get. So
Right.
so it's two parts of that. So a lot of times we are not clear, on what we want. Like I said, I'll be honest, the question seems so simple. We've talked about this so many times and you ask me all the time and I'm like, dang, like, right, what do I want? And it's
Because if you
crazy
don't
to
know,
me.
how does anybody else know what you want? If you don't know, how
Right,
can anybody else clearly give you what you want? And then you sit around being upset when you don't get what you want. They never was working for what you wanted because they don't know what you want.
right.
They was working on what they told you they was going to do. That's the only thing they're going to do is what they told you they were going to do. Because if they never heard your voice before, there was never a consensus on what you wanted. They are never going to work on behalf of what you want. because there's
And guess what though too? In all retrospect, the some people that was clear and voiced their opinions or whatever else like that, how many times they was probably shut out and nobody wanted to hear what they wanted, but they
Mhm.
kept telling what they wanted. So it's like kind of like they made it clear. Like
Mm.
you gonna hear me. That's what I'm saying. That's how voting and different things like that come about. So that's why I'm taken
And
back
then the other
when
side
I
of that
hear
is
anyone say,
open for somebody else to take up the burden of explaining what you want versus you doing it yourself because you don't want to be in the spotlight. You don't want to see. You don't want to say, I'm here. Hello. You can call me. You can email me. You can do whatever you want. I'm here to do that. I'm here to talk about these things because I want y'all to understand that you have a voice in me. I'll be your voice. I'll tell everybody what you want to hear. Like we just went to that Sheila Dixon thing last week. I ain't had nothing to say in that meeting because I want to talk to her personally, one on one.
okay,
Because that meeting wasn't the setting for what I have to say because I like to cuss sometimes. And I might have a few curse words, not in disrespect to Miss Dixon, but in passionate feeling of what I have to say.
okay,
But if I'm talking to you directly, then you can give me a direct response. Whether your response has cuss words in it or not, it doesn't matter. But I want that direct response. But I want that direct response to come to me and to go directly to who I want to hear it. Versus only being in that setting where we were at that center, wherever we were, I forget, Roland Avenue Center, Community Center, and no one else hears it.
right,
You
rolling
can be on my
part,
platform, and everybody that listens to me will hear it. But it'll hear it from the horse's mouth to coming directly from me to that person, and that person directly from me, from them to me, and then to everybody else that's listening to this platform.
right. But that's how it works because there's some of the stuff that I heard though too, and I know hearing it on a platform and stuff would have a bigger impact, I would think. But a lot of the stuff, I talked about it on my show, Money. A lot of the stuff that I heard or the way that it was coming off and how I felt about it, I've already shared it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I've already shared it and basically spread that, that word or whatever else like that. But I don't, I don't know why nobody. Look, I'm voting. That's all I'm gonna say, and I will hope that everyone who also has that God-given right does not forfeit that right or does
Always,
not fall
always
in that
keep
trick
that.
bag to make you believe just because you haven't gotten what you want or you don't see it. Have you really believing that your vote doesn't count
Right.
or it
Exactly.
doesn't
That part.
matter because they want people to believe that, like, they really do. And the only way that change happens when a lot of this stuff come up in whatever type of form it needs to come up in
Mhm.
policy and in laws or whatever, this is
Yes.
this is how it
Yes.
happens
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
through the voting process. So how can you just like solely eliminate yourself from I don't not me.
I
I
almost didn't
was
do the
gonna
show
say
today
we
because that
do it.
whole
We
entire
do it all the
conversation,
time. We do it all
that
the time.
entire
And when
conversation
we
went
don't get a
crazy.
chance to get a vote, like when we going through here in Baltimore City with these bike lanes and stuff, like everybody's like, "Who voted on this? Who said we wanted this?" So or whatever else or whatever. But guess what? It was some people somewhere, whoever they were, even though, of course they didn't do it correctly, but wherever they were, making their
Right.
voice be heard. So even though we weren't
Exactly.
included in the vote, somebody voted on that shit somewhere for it to take place. That's all I'm saying. So everybody acting like they don't know what happened, get out of here because y'all was somewhere meeting
Hmm.
about this, voting on
But
this and the
I've been had
budget.
that clear. I've been had a clear problem with that whole entire thing like that because when they like you talking about these bike lane things, that stuff was brought up at a city council meeting. It was brought up at City Hall. All you had to do was attend. Everybody, it's a public setting. It's a public forum. You can go.
Yeah,
And if you didn't want those bike lanes, that was the time to speak up. But that's why the bike lanes are there now, is because no one was there to speak up against it.
yeah.
And if
It's
you're
like
not going to be
happened so
involved,
fast.
again, here we go. What I'm talking about, this thing about your vote. Your vote is giving you the least. That's the bare minimum. The least amount of involvement in your community you can give is your vote.
And what's so fair
And that is,
about
and I
vote?
don't understand why that right there, that one day every 4 years is so freaking hard for you to make a decision on what's right for you and what's wrong for you if you pay attention to the candidacy.
Right.
That's
I
absolutely
mean, and
absurd
for
to me for
starters,
you to
and for
sit there in
starters,
your citizenship, and talk about you're not going to use it. You're not going to
right,
vote. Well, all
right.
those people at the border are saying, we'll take your place.
Huh.
All them people down
How
there
about that?
are down there dying at our border, talking about they'll take your place. If you don't want to use your vote, we'll take your place. We are willing to come in and do it.
Mm. And in all hindsight, if you
Because
can't
I can
be
ask a
clear,
simple question too. Does anybody in this whole entire United States of America have a solution for how to fix the border crisis? Does anybody?
I'd like to know.
Because y'all keep pointing fingers. All I keep hearing is Republicans pointing fingers to President Biden, but no one has created the scenario where it would fix that situation at the border.
And just putting up the
And it's
wall,
not,
I mean,
and a wall is not the
and and
answer.
and what's so crazy, and let's talk about that, and what they have spoken on should be the solution, with who is their front runner for Republic, who thinks that this wall is going to be the all to ends all, and
It won't
it's
be.
still going to have the
It's just
same.
going to be a whole bunch of people standing by a wall.
Yes, the same things. And so that's their solution, which is really not no solution.
It's not
It's
going to
just
stop them from dying. It's not going to stop them from dying if they're
none
still
of that.
by that wall
You're
trying to
still
get
going to
in.
need people there. You're still going to need. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, Trump was supposed to build that wall, didn't he? Did that happen?
No,
Oh.
it's sad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to make
Vote,
this.
people, please vote. What was the little tag that they had years ago? What is it? Rock the vote. Rock the vote, or let the world continue to rock you,
Yeah.
rock you and sock you, and not in a good
Because
way.
even if you're not worried, I mean, even if you don't want to vote the problem is, okay, so here's the conversations that I usually be having with most people. The problem is, even if you're not voting in the government election, the federal election, what's your excuse for not participating in your local, in your community, in your state? What's your excuse for that? Because you don't want to do that either. Right? So when
Mm,
are you going to change that perspective and act as though you want your area, your situation, your entire outlook to be improved upon, and actually do something to help that situation? Because the problem that I keep hearing is they, them, we, those, why. Why are they doing this? I hate that word they. I do. Why
mm.
are they doing
It's
this?
giving
It's not
who?
they, it's you. You need to focus on you. You keep saying you want to focus on yourself. So what are you doing? What are you doing to improve your surroundings?
Okay,
Because if you're
it's a
not going
good
to
way.
participate in the situation that it's at hand of you, because everybody else, you ain't touch. I can say this for probably certain, the person in particular I'm talking about. You ain't do nothing to put one stretch of concrete on your street that was already there when you got there. You ain't built one curb that was there when you got there. You ain't put up one street light that was there when you got there. Or it was fixed or put or installed by somebody other than you. But those are
Mm,
city services. The water that's coming in your house, it didn't get there by accident. The electricity that's coming in your house, it didn't get there by accident. All of those are city services or county services or wherever you're from services. That's what your tax money pays for. But you are consistently investing in, every time you get paid, you put another dollar investing into your surroundings, your community, everything that goes into doing it. But you don't care about the operation or the fundamental accounting of what's happening in your own society.
Right. No, it's no excuse for that. That was your
Like I
first
said,
question,
the
right? What
bare
is your excuse?
minimum of what you can do as a citizen is vote. That's the only thing they ask you for, is to help us put the people in power that will continue to help you prosper. But it takes more than that. It takes you understanding what that person's job is, and more than likely, most of you do not. I remember having the conversation, what was that, 3 years ago at the last election, where people thought the representative that's in the House of Representatives is supposed to be maintaining your streets. No, they're not. That's not their job. Their job is on the top level of the state. They represent the state in your area, your district inside that area of the state. And then they go to Capitol Hill to represent you there. Your state representatives is who represents your street. Understanding the jobs will help you a lot in understanding how politics work.
Mm. And it's a whole lot of work, should I say, and it works my nerve.
I remember,
But
like I was telling you last week too, where I was telling you how I know a lot. I knew Elijah Cummings, right?
mm-hmm.
His office would be a whole bunch of people that had city concerns going to the state representative. Only thing he can do is point you in the right direction. He can't do anything as far as state services are controlled. I mean, city services are controlled. It was a whole bunch of people in his office asking for city services. He is the state representative.
Right.
The only thing he can do is take that idea that you might have and see if they can get a bill passed in Congress to provide money to take care of that situation. But that's it. You really needed to be at the city council meeting and talk about your city service needs. But that's what I'm saying. If you understand the job, then you understand politics. But until people start
Okay.
to understand that, this is something we learned in school. Well, I said this last week. Something we learned in school was the citizenship and the type of jobs that are under in the government.
Yeah, they ain't. I don't
And they're
think
not
they
doing that
teaching
no
that
more. I
no
hear.
more.
So I hear they're not doing that no more. That's
No,
crazy.
they ain't doing that no more. They ain't even teaching these children how to write in cursive. So the signature is, yeah.
Oh, look, I'm looking at my paper. What else did I need to say?
How
All right.
about that?
One of the things this person that I was talking to earlier actually said to me was which is it's a big ask. So one of the questions I asked, so when I asked, what do you want? This person said, I want peace. Which that opens up a whole bunch of other questions. So when you say you want peace, what does that mean? And it was basically going right over to the Middle East. Basically, I don't want them to have wars. I was like, but so outside of that, you're living in peace, right? Because you don't got bombs bursting in the air like the national anthem say, right? There's no bombs bursting in the air. There's no bullets flying through your windows. There's nobody breaking into your house. There's nobody stealing your car. Your streets are clean and safe. So, what kind of peace are you looking for? What's this imaginary peace that you got in your mind that's different from what you have right now?
I was ready to say, well, in Baltimore City, they say that that is what's happening. Um, but I do get that money, and that's why I say I go back into your question. What do you want? It seems as simple, but it's broad because
Yeah,
it's
because they
just so many
spell out
areas you can go. Like what? What do I want for as my house? What do I want for as that? Whatever. So peace would be one of my things too, but it would be
right.
more. It would be so
But you
much
have
more
to have
than
a
that.
broader sense of what you mean by peace. Because what is peace to you? Is somebody beating you? Are you getting beat right now? Because in all intents and purposes, you are in peace. You live in peace. You live in the United States of America, where we got problems.
Mm.
But your
And as
house
much
ain't
as
on the verge of being
mayhem,
your
and as
house
much,
ain't on the verge of being
yeah,
blown.
yes, and as much mayhem as we have, as black folks in America or whatever else like that, I know we are still fortunate because you was ready to hit right
Than
on, you were hitting
everywhere
right
else.
on some of
You are
those
more
points.
fortunate than
I have
than a lot of
issues,
places on this globe, on this
right?
earth, this planet.
Thank God I was born in America. That's all I'm gonna say.
I've been thinking about Oh my
Well, that
gosh.
ain't all I'm gonna say, but
Just the onset of this conversation that I was having today with this person, but I've been thinking about this for a good amount of years on just thinking like I'm never going to run for a political office. That's just not my thing because everybody just,
what?
if I ran for office, shit would get done,
What?
but it would
I
get
think
done with a whole
you
bunch
should
of
go
person.
for it. You're so passionate. You know so much about it. You know,
But the thing is,
you
my
should
mouth
be.
is
What are
built
you
for
gonna
it.
do? Right?
It's
You
going to take
should
me
go
out.
for it.
You think I'm gonna sit in the hearing like Jasmine, Representative Jasmine Crockett, and spill all that tea like that and not cuss?
Yes.
Oh no, it'll be all kinds of bitches and hoes and you motherfuckers and all this across the
No.
house. This bitch right here is a racist ass whore. Like that. I'm just telling you how exactly it would go. Because I'm gonna let every last person that I think is they gonna know they are racist. And it's
Are
not gonna be
you
this kind of
kidding me?
I'm telling you, I would be expelled from Congress week 1 for for lack
Required
of
on
decorum.
a time you couldn't yield your time or none of that.
Hell no, I'm not yielding nothing. I'm gonna let your ass have it until my time is up.
Oh my
I'm gonna fill
goodness.
my 5 minutes. You better believe it.
Right. And still one more time you'll be cutting people off money. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. I'm not gonna sit
No,
here and
because
listen
when
to
we
this.
cut them off, I'm gonna be urging other people to start talking how they feel and stop holding back. Because when you try to, like I said, remember I was telling you about that. When you sugarcoat, when you're trying to when you're trying to speak out, and you're constantly in your mind trying to sugarcoat what you mean, it never comes off how you want it. Because you're always trying to PC yourself. I
Right.
don't PC myself when it comes to this
So
mind.
basically you
I'm
saying
like,
Miss Kirk, that's talent.
right.
Because you already said that would be you. You know, it just
That's what
feels
I'm
like
saying.
that would
She
be
did
so much
hers.
you voicing.
That was a talent. Jasmine Crockett has a talent where she can say what's on her mind and keep it lined up. But she was reading. She was some of the stuff she was reading too, so she prepared her stuff. But mine, I'm gonna go off the cuff. I don't do a whole lot of prepare. I make bullet points and I flow. That's how I do it.
Right.
I've been doing this show since 2000.
Oh yeah, definitely she had to try to write to stay on task, huh? To hit those points.
Right. But I'm going in there with my passion. If I was if I was sitting in the House of Representatives or any committee, do you yield? Can I have a minute of your time? Can I ask you
Well,
a question? That's
well,
how I
look,
would be.
we're gonna put a vote on that. Your vote counts, guys. If you're listening, do you wish for Money?
No, don't wish for it because I'm not doing it. I'd rather do it from right here.
What you say? You could be the PR on the
I
back
watch
end.
real hard.
You'll be an awesome PR, huh? Writing them speeches and
I just
stuff.
want my mission in this life is to make sure everybody understands what is happening and try to come up with a way to make this government make this government support you
Right.
because that is what the mission of government is supposed to be. They're
Right.
your
And making sure
services.
we getting the right people in there because that the other part, and I guess you're gonna get
That's
into
what I'm
that.
saying. Exactly. Because they're in
Like how you were
service.
saying about the campaigning piece
They're
and
in
how we
service
were
to
saying
support you. They're in service to support you, and the services are supposed to help you succeed at being a citizen of the United States of America. And if that is not the mission that is happening, then you need to reset and refocus and make sure things are going in the way that you want them to go. That's what your vote gives you the impression. It's supposed to give you the impression, but it's supposed to act exactly that way. But because we're so divided and no one, and I absolutely mean no one, is talking to each other, because I swear to goodness, I bet more than likely those Republican poors and the Democratic poor people, are wanting and asking for the same damn thing.
mm,
And that is to succeed here and not
mm,
be poor and not be the downtrodden.
so true.
But they're over there being manipulated into something that they think this orange corn curl person is going to be able to give them. And it's a dream because he doesn't give a fuck about y'all.
At all.
Because if he did, he would have gave y'all some of his money. And he did not do that.
Mm.
And will never do that. But he'll continuously ask you for yours.
Before he
Every single day, he
fraudulently,
sends you an
right, before
email
he
asking you
fraudulently
for more
obtained
money.
it.
And all that money is going to pay for his legal fees. And that's it.
And that's it. And I reported on that before too, where people that work real, alongside of him, were just speaking on that and the things that he said. I mean, I can imagine. Like, I'm gonna go back to the first thing that you were talking about and how he switched up on that Ron DeSantis. So I can just imagine behind closed doors and how he switched up on that vice president. Um, that was his guy with him through his whole presidency. I'm
Right.
sure he talks about y'all. So if he can put that, and I mean, that's just his way. Because I mean, everybody that is not in agreement or is saying anything against Trump or just wants him, and a lot of the situations, even to what he's facing today, far as these lawsuits and stuff like that, Trump just my thought is, even if we can't agree on the right and wrong, he just takes accountability for nothing. He takes accountability for nothing. Nothing is nothing. And in my opinion, a person that's always crying victim is definitely suspect. He's always crying victim.
And no one sees it. For some reason, they
He's
don't see it.
always crying
They
victim.
still claim that he is their best option. And I don't understand. Your guess is as good
And
as
that's
mine
sad.
or why
And that's
that
sad.
is.
And just how we talked about, you was just now saying about the rhetoric of, nobody is talking, but when people are talking, we're listening to the wrong shit. Because then we listen to the stuff that have people saying stuff like, I don't want to vote, nothing makes a difference, or they won't want to vote for certain people because of
But then
something
when
like
you
you
ask the
mentioned about
question, when somebody
Biden and
says that
having this.
part right there, like you just said, when somebody says that part right there, like nothing makes a difference, then you ask the other question, then so what didn't you get? Oh, I don't know. Well, because you didn't do no. So how do you know you didn't get anything?
Mm.
Now, how many people do you know that has that function that acts like that? Because that's what I got today in my conversation. You said you ain't get anything, but do you know what we got? Do you know what was done, what was won, what was achieved in oh, did you even pay attention to the fact that when the person was running and you voted the last time, that they voted on a platform and they told you exactly what they were going to do? Did you know they did half of that? Did you know that? Did you know that they achieved half of their agenda and then the government changed and that's why they couldn't continue? Did you know that? Oh, you don't pay attention to that. Oh, so that's how you have so you're misinformed, uneducated opinion is what you're driving your force for not voting. Exactly why I don't want to talk to you no more. You see what I'm saying?
Not want to talk,
I,
not
I,
talk
I don't want to talk
lately.
to somebody that does not inform themselves. You are a
No, not
citizen
talk
here.
lately.
This goddamn piece of chunk of land that we live on, it should matter to you just as much as your house that you live in.
Okay.
Because if the civil war that they keep suspecting is going to happens, you're going to want somebody to have your back while you sitting over there alone.
Yeah, I would think so.
And they're going to
I
wish
would
they
think
had
so.
your support when they go try to stop the fighting. So why are we waiting for the fight to start before we start to step up? That's the stupidest, idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. Versus fighting for what you believe in now. Voting for what you want now. Putting people in the places of power that you know you can trust now. But no one And I mean no one, because I haven't seen anybody of a presidential caliber that stepped forward so far yet. Besides, I can think of the only person I can think of right now that's coming to mind would be a Jasmine Crocker for my life, and a Hakeem Jeffries for my life.
Mm.
For my life. I'm just talking about my life. Somebody that I would believe in representing me as a president. Anyway, because they're showing me exactly what they're going to do when they're in government. You see what I'm saying? Hakeem Jeffries always
Hmm.
up there speaking. Jasmine Crockett, she just made she made a name for herself as a young representative. I mean, not young in age because I think she's like 40 something, but I mean young as being in the job.
Yeah.
And it's just so I'm just so unimpressed with a lot of you citizens. I'm just so unimpressed. And I want to be impressed. I want to be impressed by you standing up for what you want. I want you to answer the question, what do you want?
Right.
I want you to have a solid
I
answer.
mean, but in the
I
meantime,
want
but in
you to
the
understand
meantime, because
in
that
other
is
words,
such like a open question. Because, like I say, you can go into so many different avenues. Even when you're saying what you want, it still has to be particulars. You know what I'm saying? What do you want for this? What do you want for that? And your house or whatever. So that's why I say it's just like one of those broad questions. But in the meantime, what you want can be relayed in some form of fashion through your vote. I would say that through your vote.
this is what I really want. Here's a word that I really want. Ideas.
Mm,
What is your damn idea? What ideas do you have that you could suggest on a mainstream level that will help this society become better? Become better.
hmm.
What is your suggestion? What do you have that you could give to somebody else? Because you're apparently leaving it up to these doofuses that you want to keep trying to put in office that
Oh my goodness.
only
I
want to
think I
roll back the
posed
clock.
that.
They only
I
want to
think
roll
I
back the clock.
right. That just made me have a little bit of deja vu. I think I posed that question before too on my show, and I think about just how you were saying on the city government level, like you know how when we do get these people in office and we have an idea of what they should be doing and then they're not doing, or their response to certain things that you know we may have had on the table or voted before, whatever. Like, okay, well, if you were in that position, what would you do? What would you do?
What would you
Especially
do?
when
What
you
kind of
have
ideas
those.
would you come up with? Stop waiting for somebody else to fix your problems. That's another part of the problem that we seem to face here in this country. We keep waiting for other people to do things for you versus trying to figure
Mm,
out how to fix it yourself. Here's a great
right.
scenario from the
But you
conversation.
know that that's in a whole arena, though, Monty, because at the same time, you know, where it should be simple to say what we want. And yes, I do feel like through the vote, that is definitely a sure way to make sure you are being heard. But you know, at the same time, we are still fighting against systems and the politics of these systems that hear you, but so much.
I agree. We still work. We fight against the politics of these systems and the systematic racism of these systems as well. But at the same time, without you and your input in trying
Yeah.
to fix those
That don't mean
systems,
stop
then it's
talking because
never going to get fixed.
if our ancestors do it like that, then the rights that we do have now, whether they are
They would never
violated or
exist.
not,
They would
look,
never
whether they
exist.
are violated or not, you heard me, Money. But the rights that we do have now would be non-existent
They would never exist.
if they just shut up and then they never voted, and if they felt like okay, nothing that we're doing or saying is making a difference, or when they went the first time, you know how many times they had to be turned away, you know how many times they have to, and I think about it too sometimes, far as you know the things we vote on, like you know, kind of like setting the goals for yourself. You gotta have short-term goals and
Mhm.
long-term goals. So I think a lot of times, Money, that's why people don't know what's going on because, like you were saying, people don't pay attention to the short-term goals or those type of strategies that our people that are in legislative have to put into play to get to the long term goal, like you said, through their whole term. So they may have achieved some of the short term ones, but not the main goal.
Right.
But nobody is taking into account the little things, not the little things, but those accomplishments that they had to have before the main thing could be achieved.
And just like in this election, like I don't believe anybody is actually touting. Like I said, I was telling you about Biden and that administration, that they're not touting their accomplishments well enough. Because you know you
Mm,
had a whole list of things, and yes, we want to know about the stuff you plan to do in the future. But at the same time, you had a list of things the last time we voted for you, and tell us what you did. Tell us what you accomplished. Tell us why we
right,
should give you another 4 years. Tell us why. But not only that, because you also have a responsibility as the voter to figure out every other race in this race. Because as you know, the Senate is still Democrat, but the House is not. And without the
right.
House, it's very few things that your president can do without it being a bill that goes into a vote that goes to be
Yes.
signed on his desk.
And bless his heart, because he's still been trying, even
And
with
he has
the
been the most, and
adversities.
out of everybody that I've seen lately in the past several elections, he's been the one that's been most respectful on not putting forth a whole bunch of executive orders that as soon as he leaves office get overturned by the next president and mess everything up. He is trying to do it the right way and let things pass through Congress so he doesn't have a slate of being an executive order president. He wants to work with everybody.
Right.
And that's just unheard of these days. Nobody wants to work with anybody. They want full power and full control. But then today we have the option of changing that environment. But it still requires you.
Mm. Yes, it does. And my goodness,
I'm
if
surprised I got a
Trump,
voice.
oh
I'm
my
surprised I damn
goodness,
have a voice today.
that
I'm
man
really
don't need
surprised.
that man don't need his ego stroked anymore. So while people are thinking that Biden ain't do this and doing that, so what, we gonna have a whole bunch of Ron DeSantis that's dropping out of the race and siding with Trump and then deciding not to vote because they don't side with Biden because, oh my goodness, they think he's done stuff now, far as what we've seen. If he was the fact that if he's even allowed to be on this ballot, how he's going to show off?
Hmm.
He already showing off now. Just showing off, and y'all want that to be the representation of the United States of America.
Yet again,
Oh my
instead of
gosh,
so gracious.
Money. It makes me sick. It makes me disgusted. That's why I'm just disgusted that anybody would say they do not want to vote. Come on, do y'all see what is going on? It's like really one of those, somebody come and look at this
It's
moment.
beyond,
Somebody come and look at this.
it's beyond me. Look, I can't. I don't even want to. This little conversation we're having right now is just so. It's so broad that it's like it could take up this whole entire show. I do have other things that
Oh
I wanted
yes,
to talk about, but
absolutely.
I don't want to get off this
Absolutely.
topic
Isn't
because
that
it's so
always something?
serious.
We always say we don't want to talk about him and then he just, because it's just so
It's
crazy.
so serious. It's so serious, and I just don't want to hear another person. Like I don't think I changed that person's mind today about why they should, and that concern of you do know when you don't add your vote to the count, that's just like giving another vote to the opposition. So when you don't put your vote in the bucket, that's like that other person that may have opposing views to what you actually believe in. They're getting your vote, because a no vote is a vote for the opposition. Period. Because I mean I hate to say that you should be going for the person, what is it? How you say it? The lesser evil.
Uh,
You should be
yeah.
voting for the lesser evil versus the most evil. That
Hmm.
is it. Because if you only got, all right, let's take 2016 for example. Not everybody was thrilled that Hillary Clinton was the primary candidate for the Democratic Party, and then Trump. Everybody wasn't happy with that, but they chose him anyway. right? But
Mm-hmm.
the greater evil was which one? So
Okay.
people say, and a whole bunch of people, those are the people that pissed off, and those are the people that I unfriended on Facebook and I'm no longer friends with, and we don't have any more discussions because you are a problem. And I don't need problems in my life. So I eliminate and I give myself the whole entire badge of being a problem solver. And I will drop you like a rock.
Hard.
Because I don't need problems in my life. And if you are causing problems for me by voting for the opposition, then you are a problem and got to go. Blood or not.
Or not voting at all. That's the problem. Okay.
And if you know me, you know I'd say what I mean.
Are you real passionate about it? That's why I say you
I
should,
am.
guys.
If you don't
Won't
understand
you go
that
get you
these
one of them
things,
Senate?
they might
Won't
not
you go
affect
get you?
you today. They may not affect you today, but they have a thing about coming back to bite you in the future.
Won't you go up there and sit on one of them Senate seats?
I'm
Well,
telling you,
look,
they
we
don't
probably
want
would
me in
have the
that.
right people
They
up in
do
there
not.
anyway
First of all,
because
because here's the other problem. I ain't wearing no suit.
oh,
So that's the other problem. I do not like being uncomfortable in my clothes, and a suit looks so uncomfortable.
oh, you can get a comfortable suit.
No, I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing. That's too many clothes for me anyway. Because then I don't like to wear clothes in the first place.
Ain't nothing but a button-up shirt and a
Ew,
jacket.
all around your neck. Look at me dying. Claustrophobic.
Oh, I'm
Look
dying.
at all everything you just said. I said like I was gonna suffocate.
Oh my goodness. I
I do
can't.
not like stuff around my neck, so there's no tie, none of that. Too close.
We had to take a
Mm-mm.
vote on
Y'all
that.
walking around with a noose around your neck. Why y'all doing that? Why? Why y'all walking around with a noose on?
It looks nice.
It's a noose, but it's a noose. Think about it. A tie is a noose.
Uh,
And who created that?
similar, but
Think
it's
about it. The
mm, mm,
representation of a
mm.
tie is a noose.
Okay. Oh, that's why some brothers don't wear they only wear the bow ties, huh? Okay.
Even worse.
Okay.
A bow tie is even worse.
Okay. Yeah, you don't like the bow ties either.
No, I don't want nothing around my neck. Absolutely nothing.
Well, it matter because, like you said, we ain't got all that money to throw into no campaign anyway.
Oh
So
yeah, and then
that's
that's the
why a
other
lot of the
part.
right people
I would
don't get in there
never,
anyway.
if I was running for office, I would never ask for $1. Never ever. Because if I'm going to die because I don't have no, if I'm going, lose because I don't have any money, then I shouldn't have never ran in the first place. Because it shouldn't be based on how much money I can earn, I can take from the citizens that have already, if we're talking about it, that have already been taxed enough. So now you want me to contribute to you want me to contribute my money after taxes. Now I got to give you money from that I've already paid the government
Hold on. After taxes and being taxed again.
to contribute to your campaign to be in government. That sounds ridiculous. The government should be paying for elections. I think there will be a tighter grasp on the money and the concept of spending money if somebody else was in control of campaign finances. It should be a budget, and you
Right.
can't go over this damn budget.
And you wouldn't have those issues
Right.
with the conflict of interest and if
And stealing and
something
having to
was
file federal campaign returns and all that
right.
kind of
That's
stuff.
why a
All
lot of
that stuff
people
should be
that
taken
should
care
or
of.
possibly would be good to be in a lot of these seats, a lot of these
But
positions,
if that
and
was the
never
case,
get there.
and that will also, but see, do you understand that will also open up the potential of other candidates? That other people would have the opportunity now to run. They wouldn't have to do all that lobbying for people, asking people, do they think they can be their candidate or, getting other companies to donate money and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff will go away. Any Joe Schmo would be able to go up and say, I can do this job better. But see, we can't have that. They don't have that right now because there's so much money poured into this thing. They already set their candidates years ago. They already knew who was going to be a candidate today
Yeah.
because they've been lobbying all this time to say their future is to become president. They're working towards becoming president. Like Ron DeSantis, he's been trying to probably become president since he was 12.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to make, like, the reference to, like, when I was saying the short term goals, versus the long term ones. They
Because he's
ain't
been
just
building
jumping up in
his
that
career. He's been
presidency.
building his career all along. That's why he wanted to become
Right.
Florida governor. He went from being a senator to Florida governor. Now he wants to be president.
Now it's right. They started from the bottom. First they was a citizen, then they was on the city council, then they became mayor, then they became
Right.
it's steps, right? It's a process to it.
And
Yeah,
that's crazy
certainly.
because now we missing out on a whole bunch of voices and everybody. Like you really don't have a people representative because
Mm,
if you think about it, even if you look at President Biden can't walk in. He never walked in your shoes. He never walked in my shoes. He never walked in most Americans' shoes because he's never been like us and fighting for our lives to survive.
right.
So
That's why it's so many
but
meetings and
he is
stuff.
our lesser evil.
And I'm gonna vote
And I
for
hate to call him
him.
evil because I don't believe the man is evil, but he's the lesser of two evils.
No, I get what you were saying because that's how some people do look at it. It's been
Yeah, and the
a
same
whole
thing with Hillary
slew
Clinton.
of
Hillary was the
allegations.
lesser. She was the lesser of two evils, but y'all chose evil in 2016.
Right.
And y'all got evil. That's exactly what you earned. Evil. And I blame everybody that set out the 2016 election. And here we are in 2024, 8 years later, still talking about the same thing. And you still acting like your vote doesn't matter. It matters when it sucks to have a president that is hated across the world. It sucks
Mm,
to know that people don't want to do business with you because you're president.
yes.
It sucks because you got to cut your friends loose because they chose the president that sucks.
Right. And no,
I never
but
thought I
y'all
was
want
ever
him to
going to
be
have to come to
president.
that point.
Why? That
I never thought I was going to come to that point where I'm asking people who you vote for, just real nonchalantly, like just like that. Hey, who you vote for? And it's like
right.
Trump. Oh, okay, bye. We can't be friends. Sorry, thank you. Have a good day.
And I beg the question, as some people are asking, what has Biden done and why should they vote for him? But hey, ask the same. I would ask all the Trump supporters the same. What did Trump do? What did he do?
Right. Answer that
You want
question.
him to be president? Why?
Give me a 10-point PowerPoint on what he did.
Right. You want him to be president? Why? Why him? That's what I don't get. I would have rather seen Ron, little flip flop, wishy washy ass,
I just don't.
been trying to run. I don't get it. I don't get it. So now all of the Republicans, so I guess they're going to follow suit. Like I put myself in their shoes. I just would not trust it if I was a Republican today and I was seeing all of this and what's going on and with Trump and knowing things ain't right and this is and he mm, I'm telling you, where my thoughts would be sweet. Y'all
Well,
trust that? That says a lot. That says a lot about y'all
it
watching all
does.
this go on. What you say, humans? I
I
hate
don't.
y'all because when it comes to those thoughts, I guess in that way, I guess I don't get it because I'm so unlike y'all. And then don't even have like even when you take those categories away of being a Republican or a Democrat, like seriously, I'm not even sitting in that lane for the party that I follow and my thoughts about that. I'm really sitting in my thoughts about that, like, okay, just the person if I was supporting them. And all of this stuff would be going and all of it would be happening and like right.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, this is serious, y'all. This not even about and some days like we said, the popularity vote, we know that's gonna have some say. of course, in this
That's
presidential election. But
the
like
problem.
seriously, like it's so serious where if Trump was on the ballot for a Democrat and Biden was on for Republican or whatever, I definitely would be voting on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath. You get what I mean? Like it's that serious. And we need to start thinking like that as Americans and going, for what's right. And think about that as you supporting these people. Like, fuck a party. Like real
I just
talk.
posted at the bottom. I just, if you can look at the bottom, I just put up our Facebook group name. It's Be Exposed Radio Live Group. If you want to join that, we keep the conversation going there after the show and during the show and all day long. We have conversations. We post news articles and poll questions. Like the poll question that we have for tonight's show is, what do you want? Do you know what you want as a citizen of the USA? Do you know what you want? Do you know if you had the opportunity to sit down with Joe Biden and ask him and tell him, not ask him, tell him what you want? Do you have an identity to know what you want? Do you know what you want?
Just give me a bit. Just give me a bit. Just give me a. No, I'm gonna say a million. Look, I don't want to say Bill. Just
That's
give
the
me a
poll
million
question that's
dollars,
up
Joe. I'll
today in our
figure it
group.
out.
I just want to know what you want. I don't even want to know what you want. I want you to answer the question because the options on the question is yes, no, undecided, kind of. Do you know what you want out of society as a citizen of the USA? Do you know? I know what I
Give
want
me $1 million so I can buy my own acres and all the.
because I know what I want. I want prosperity, not peace,
Yeah.
not peace, because I know that is something that you cannot sustain. Peace is not something that you can sustain with human beings. No, that is against your nature. It's never been peaceful 100% of the time, all the time. That is unattainable. So stop it.
Don't
There's
you
only some
ruin it
jerk
for
that's going to step
everybody.
on your foot and
Don't
tell
you
you
ruin it. Peace
but
is accomplishable. Peace is
prosperity, that is the
accomplishable.
difference. That is the difference. That is something that's obtainable. Everybody can be prosperous.
Mm,
And if
that was
if
my
we had a
prayer.
sense of
Prosperity
community,
is my natural condition.
if we had a sense of community, it would be happening already. We don't have that anymore. We no longer have a sense of
Come
community.
on.
And I was just telling Chastity before the show, I can kind of blame myself for that too, because I don't deal with my neighbors. I don't. They probably listen to me right now. They know I don't fuck with them. They know I don't. I mean, it's just a sad fact that's that way. But I care about my community. I do get involved in my community. I like to attend city hall meetings. I like to speak up. If something ain't going right in my neck of the woods, I'm going to talk about it.
As you should.
As I should, because I'm a part of this community. I don't have to deal with them to know that I care about their surroundings, though.
Right. As you should. And I guess, what we've been saying is stop letting shit happening and then want to talk shit and you ain't do shit.
That's all. That's
And
all.
vote. That's it. Just vote. Please. Come on.
I just want y'all to prosper. But prospering can't happen if everybody doesn't participate. You have to participate. Put your citizenship to work for you.
That's right.
Or otherwise, you just throwing your money away. You just giving tax money away, and it's just not helping. You just paying. I don't even know what you're paying for
Hmm.
because it's not paying to be here. I don't know what you're paying for. You just giving your money away and then struggling and not getting anything in return. If you're going to struggle, at least make them work for you struggling.
Okay. Like it's working for me.
I really do want y'all to be better. I want y'all to be better. I want y'all to be engaged. I want y'all to understand what's happening in your surroundings. I want y'all to know what's happening in your surroundings. I want you to be able to verbalize what is happening in your surroundings. So when you're talking to other people, you don't sound stupid like I'm not voting. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then don't be
Hmm.
stupid enough to say something like this, because this is where I was like really flabbergasted when it was said to me that voting isn't nothing but the census. Yes, it is. Yes, it is exactly that. It's telling everybody, it's telling most people exactly what you want. Yes, that's what a census does. That if they know where you live, they know where you are, they know where they can determine what community you're in, that they can provide information to you that help you get to the place where you want to be. That's what a census does. That's what a voting does. That's what when you put your ballot in and you say, I want to elect this person, you're telling them this is who I want to do this for me. But the caveat is when you give your ballot in, you're coming with your ballot is, well, here's my vote. It's not coming with, but this is what I also want. And that's the problem with citizens of the United States of America. You don't have an agenda. You don't have an idea. And this is supposed to be the land of ideas. This is where you're supposed to have them. This is the one place on this whole entire planet where you can put your idea up and see if somebody can catch on to it.
Right. But that's part of it too. And I'm not going to say that I don't think that people who don't have ideas or put it out there. And,
It's
I would think
300,
that the
it's
majority of
300
people
plus,
want to,
it's
I would think the
330 plus
majority
million
of,
people. It's 330 plus million people. We should have 330 plus million people with ideas
yeah,
for
yeah,
how we can prosper. It's too many of us to not be sufficient enough to get rid of the poor. Not get rid of, but make the poor go away. Not go away. Get the poor housing. For the
mm,
poor not to exist. Damn, that still sounds bad.
it does.
For there not to be any poor. Is that
Yeah.
better?
I'm so, wait a minute, you just excluded me all the way because I'm
But
way
you
too
get what I'm saying. You
mental.
get what I'm saying.
No,
For
I
there
get what
not
you're
to be a
saying. I
poor
mean,
society.
those problems that I guess you're saying where those categories of people
Yeah, it shouldn't
really would
be.
not
We
exist.
we
Like
are living.
everybody,
If we
the
keep
way it
touting
is
that,
for the ideas and what the American dream and everything's supposed to be about, like, right, it's supposed to be enough here in this land where
right? Because if we
everybody
keep
should
going
be
around the
able
world
to,
touting that we are the most richest
yes,
world, and we are the richest country in the
everybody
world,
should be able
we
to prosper,
if we're
even in
able
a
to continue to tout
situation,
that while
right,
having a poor society, if we're able to tout that this is the richest country in the world while still having a poor society, we have not fulfilled what we were supposed to fulfill. We have not
right,
done right by our people. We are still letting our people suffer. We have not fixed the drug problem. We have not fixed the homeless problem. We are still a problem. We have, I mean, it's good to be a part of the world because we should be, but we can't keep touting these big things if we have not fixed our own problems.
hmm. And that's a problem,
And that only comes with ideas from the peanut gallery, the citizens.
right? But that's why I
Now
say
that's the
it's
question
not
to
like some
everybody. What ideas do you have
citizens,
that could improve society? That's going to be next week's poll question.
right? But it's been ideas out here. It's been ideas out here. I think a lot of times with anything money, because yeah, it's been ideas out here. That's how we had things previously to vote about, or what we could do, or what people thought as citizens they could approve or make things better in society. I think a lot of that issue for us that, and you touched on it, is the cohesiveness. Like so even if I know what I want, someone else might know what they want. And then if it's not that and we're not getting that, like people just really don't grasp what that process really is, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we do have the ideas, that's what I'm saying. It switch up so much. So a lot of times what we want is not clear.
Mm.
It's not clear because that's how we have things and then we vote on it. And then when they come to be, people are like, oh no, that's not really one. And you know how they do sometimes though, Money. We talked about it before, like far as things that they do present for us to vote about. They'll tell you one thing that is involved in the whole policy or the whole bill. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
They'll
mhm,
stick on one thing and people will understand that. It'll just scenario be bill one. And it'll have 30 things that it is going to address.
mm.
But to get the vote on the table, what we agreeing about, that people that put it out there, they'll pick one thing to get
True.
someone to vote about it for. That's why I'm right. You got to know. You got to be in this stuff because it's tricky.
Right, because that
It's
when
tricky.
you are less knowledgeable and you're already trying to determine whether you're going to vote or not, that's sad because you haven't even got you don't even have an informed basis on why you're not voting. You're just saying out of your mind that is this they haven't done anything for me. What did you ask for? That's the question people that determine that they are not willing to, that they have not found anything that was viable to them. That's the question that they forget about. You didn't ask for anything.
Mm.
I don't remember seeing your request form. You didn't ask me for anything. You didn't even show up at the town hall. I ain't never see you at City Hall. I ain't never see you talking to the mayor. I ain't never see you talking to your county representative. So what did you ask for that you saying that you never got? They haven't done anything for you. Hmm? I don't remember seeing your name up there saying that you had an idea.
Mm.
What was the part that you asked for why you're not voting?
Well, one of my ideas is government recollect a lot of these services or whatever. BGE cut them off or whatever to a minimum.
Mhm.
If we already know what the issue is, I mean, it's all fun and it's good. Not all fun and games, but it definitely is all good when we know that citizens are faced with um, different struggles and everything. We have other services out here to try to combat that. But at the same time, we could look at a lot of things from the proactive
So
perspective
Trump
to
just
say,
won the
okay, and then we wouldn't need so much money in this funding pool to help people pay this bill. You get what I mean? Because we will recollect it from the forefront that you're not going to be but so high, or you're not going to be. I think a lot of that needs to go on.
mm,
Like in a whole bunch of services, I feel. I used to always say that about BG&E, like for real. So much money and backing behind that, like where it's set up where they could bill you by bedroom size. Or how many bedroom or how many, you know what I mean?
mhm.
Okay. Like you paying the cell phone bill because guess what? Y'all still ain't money. Like, I don't know. That's just one of my ideas. But then look, I'm still not clear on what I want. But good points, Monty. Yes.
Mm.
You just said it the whole show and it's voting because it is that serious.
Ugh,
Huh.
it is very serious, and it's something that's got to give.
Well, I hope somebody heard us
I
and
hope so too.
especially heard you because you came on here definitely with that passion to discuss that so much. So I said you should be in politics. But hopefully someone heard you, Monty,
Mm,
and recognizes that their vote is necessary and how you gotta go about it. Sometimes for the lesser evil. And if they don't go that way, ugh, I can't even think it. I'm gonna throw up.
mm.
I can't even I won't dare say. But just vote.
That just made my stomach hurt just thinking about that whole entire process.
Just vote. I'm telling you, that's what I said. I can't even I won't even speak it. You hear me what they say? Speak
Mm.
no evil. Speak no evil. I already gotta hear it and
Ugh,
see it. And that's exactly what I'm seeing right now with all this stuff in the state and everything that our government is in and with this election and
right.
all dwells around this one person and they tell me that that's not the devil, baby.
Hmm.
Sure. All around this one thing. This one guy.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
It's a bit much.
I can't even call it anything, but it's crazy. That's what you would call buffoonery. Like that's
Mm.
completely buffoonery.
From
But
now
wait,
on, when people talk just stupid like that, I'm gonna just call them Ron DeSantis.
all
Okay,
right,
you're doing the DeSantis.
wait a minute, hold on. We gotta go to this real quick. Mm-mm-mm. I mean, we knew it was coming. I mean, this wasn't like a shocker, but Trump won the New Hampshire Republican primary. That just came out just now. They do say that he narrowly won it, though. It wasn't like it was an overwhelming thing. Um, I'm trying to find the numbers right at this moment.
Mm, mm, mm.
So apparently, it says that he had like she had 40, Nikki Haley had 40, and he had 50 points.
Mm.
So he beat her by 10 points. I mean, that's not a sad showing, I don't believe. I think that's like that's, since Ron dropped out, all the votes that he probably had probably went to her.
Who he's not backing.
Right, right. Because I don't. That's what my concern was. Like, just because Ron
He messed it
decided
up
to
for her.
support Trump,
That's what I'm
that doesn't
saying. I
mean
would
his
hope that people had
supporters.
their own mind, but
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Because I don't think just because Ron decided to support Trump, that don't mean his supporters were going to go that way too. I believe they probably was like, no, if we wanted Trump, we would have been supporting him. We don't want him, so we're probably going to go after, go with Haley. So I think that's exactly what happened because, yeah, she got the extra votes from him probably.
so
They wasn't enough to
disappointing.
beat him. They weren't enough to beat him, but they were enough to get her up, to get her numbers up. Mm. But she's not dropping out, so that's the good part about it. It says now carrying some much needed momentum, Haley is preparing for the primary in her home state of South Carolina on February the 24th. So that's a good thing that she's not dropping out. Keep going. If you got the campaign funds, I'm not donating. If you got the campaign funds, keep going.
Okay.
You won't get them from me, baby. You heard me. I slipped up. I was going to call it something else. Respect. I got respect. I got a little bit of respect.
You're not gonna run DeSantis, her.
No, he can go to hell. He can go straight to hell and don't come back.
Oh, Ron.
I wouldn't cry. His funeral was 1,000 onions cutting right in front of my eyes. Oh gosh, where do we go from here?
He done dropped out and dropped the people jaws because he done went
to.
right back into the jaws of Trump. Goodness gracious. I know. Come on now. Breathe and slowly
Get off my screen.
release it. Woosah. Whatever they say.
Oh, what is but you know what I don't believe? I still, even though, the subsect of people that keep saying they're not going to vote, I don't believe I don't believe he still has enough votes. Like, I don't believe, this is my whole heart just hoping, just, you're not going to put him back in office after you've seen what he did. And then you can see the difference between the two presidents. You can see the difference, right? The only reason why we're still talking about Trump is because he has so many damn cases that it's inevitable that they talk about him. We can't help but to talk about him because he is being prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law in every goddamn state. Just about.
And nothing that is being talked about him on a
But if it wasn't for
worldwide
these cases,
arena is
if it
anything
wasn't for
good,
these cases, he would
nothing
have died off a
positive.
long time ago. If it wasn't for these cases, he would have died off a long time ago. But these cases kept him in the news, right? So which gave him the confidence that he could become president again. But if it wasn't for these cases, I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have been running again. I don't think he would have been, because he was hated. He was being hated. He was hated for January 6th. He was hated for what he put the country to, trying to combat the election from last time.
But not hated by enough
But that
people,
momentum
obviously.
from these cases is what
Not
everybody back
hated
around.
by enough people, though, obviously, Monty.
I
Because
don't
even
know
though
though.
we're in the position to feel that way about that, a lot of people who are supporting Trump do not feel like that. A lot of people, and that's why we are discussing this.
I don't
This
know
is
though. But
why,
remember, in 2016, he had a modicum of black support. I haven't seen that this time around.
right, right,
I haven't seen that. You know, you can't win without the black support.
yeah.
He had a respectable margin of black support in that 2016 run. And then they said, hopefully y'all open your eyes up, because I remember I was having the same argument back in 2020. What's this?
And
24?
women,
And back in
and
2023. I was having the same argument back in 2023 about those people was talking about why y'all not voting for Trump? Why y'all not voting for Trump? That he gave y'all those stimulus money. He didn't give us nothing. That came from Congress, and it came from a Democratic Congress. So I had to put that out there. I said, well,
say it.
he signed it. That doesn't make him the author of a bill. Just because he signed it into law does not make him the author of it. He had no choice. People were dying around him. Everybody was dying because of COVID. If that's the reason why you think that's this man should be president, is because he gave you a couple $100, then you are weird. And you should stay out of the vote, because you need some extra education.
That wasn't free. That they still take.
If somebody can give you
That was just
$600,
that was just an
that can guarantee you gonna
advancement.
vote for them again. If somebody gives you $1,600 and that can $600 and that can guarantee you to vote for them again, you got other problems.
Obviously.
So $600 is not enough to buy my vote. It's not enough. Free college, you got my vote.
Eliminate them loans.
Free healthcare, you got my vote.
Things that can help us prosper.
Prosperity.
As a nation, you got my vote.
Because these are things that should be human rights. You should want a smart electorate. You should want your electorate to be educated. So why would you charge them to go to school? Make fucking sense. Because that doesn't make sense to me, that you want to make your people pay to go to college to become an educated individual in your city, in your country, in your town, in your world.
Right. And if the money wasn't
It should
tied
be a
on that, then you
crime.
would have more
Ideas,
educated people.
more things being accomplished, more things being properly done, more technology, more benefits, more agriculture, more everything. If everybody was educated, and you know how many times, if everybody had the education of being a farmer, how much food we could be able to produce. If everybody knew how to do agriculture, how much food we could produce. How much we wouldn't be willing on killing all the damn animals because of the food we would be able to produce. No one cares about that though, right? That you don't care about that. That was over your head. The only thing you heard was free, right? Free college, free medicine, free Medicaid, free health coverage. But you don't know what the benefits of those are. Free healthcare means people live longer, which means they can work longer, which means they can put more in the pot, which means they can pay more in taxes, which means you forgot about all that, right? Because they're still here, they're not dead. Free college means you gave them the education to become more examples of what better life looks like, what gives them the opportunity to be more and be more involved and to lend voice and to lend ideas and to give you prosperity. Do you know how many of us would be doctors right now if we didn't have to pay to go to medical school?
That's what I was ready to say.
Do you
Having
know how
that
many people
burden
would
over
be
your head
nurses
of
right
that
now if we didn't have to
financial,
pay to go to nursing school?
right, that
Do you know how many people
financial
would be
pull on you from
farmers right
school
now
and
if
trying
we
to
didn't have to pay to
work
be an
and
agricultural specialist? Do you know how many people would be computer technicians right now if they didn't have to pay to go to college to get their IT degree? Do you know how advanced technology would be if we had more people that was educated in technology?
yeah.
Do you know how more advanced we could be if we had more scientists in this country that work together as a consortium to benefit the processes and update the processes that we use on an everyday basis, like gasoline usage,
Mm.
where we shouldn't even be using fossil
Instead of
fuels
being in there
anymore. We
bored,
should have
keep coming out with
already,
these
if
different
there was a
viruses.
consortium that was meant to just figure out fuel and how to come up with a different fuel source to operate our motor vehicles, how special that department would be. But all of our scientists don't work together. They don't. They're all in it because they're all in it for themselves. They're all in it for the prestige. They're all in it for the accolades versus trying to work together as a consortium to fix the problems of our society and our country and
Mm.
our technological needs.
Yeah.
We're never going to
And that's what
succeed. We're
it
never going
is
to
all across
succeed
the board.
apart. That's why I don't even understand why y'all even still call us the United States. We're not united. Take it off.
The states of
The
America.
States of America. Y'all living
Stop
in a
it.
false dream already by just calling yourself united. You're not.
We just
You benefit
connected.
no one.
We just connected like the board.
We're attached. The attached states of America.
Yeah, the attached, the connected.
It's worthless. It's just really
I
sad.
was trying to give a word with the same amount of syllables. The connected states of America.
Sad. Sad states of America.
Ooh, that too. It's
The
all
SSA.
connected.
The SSA.
That too, because it's all connected. Yes.
Mm-mm.
Well, you
That
broke
was
it
the whole
down for
show.
me, star.
That was the whole show. Shoot.
You got my vote.
I look out the window
No, Money,
every
it's
day.
always good talking to you.
It is. I like talking about this stuff. Because it matters. It actually matters. This is the stuff that we need to be talking about. We need to be having these conversations. And I still leave you with this because we're getting ready to go. What the hell do you want? Please figure it out and come back to me next week. Please, please, please. I would love to hear from you. Our comment sections are always open. You can comment on this video even after the show goes off. And just tell us what you want. What the hell do you want? I'm sorry. And Instagram, I have been ignoring you. And my apologies.
Mhm.
I'm gonna shout out Mika, who was over on the Instagram page. Who else do I know on here? Man, if I can just go ahead and listen, shout y'all out. Jules Africa Imports. Hey, shout out to you. Bossy Braids, Chunk Jones, Kimmy, Lady Virgo, Pooh Beef, Chanel Wells, Steve. Is that Stevie Showtime? Oh, shout out to what's his name from your show? Come on, Chastity.
What was that?
Carlos. Shout out to Carlos.
Oh,
Sneaker got the
Sneaker
sneaker guy.
Universe.
Yes. He's been rocking hard with us for the past couple of weeks since he's been on your
Okay.
show. He comments on all kinds of stuff that I post. I love it. I appreciate him. It was somebody else I wanted to shout out to. I wrote it down and I can't find it now.
And shout out to his wife, Yolanda, who made that connection because I shout her out on my show. Like since I've told her about um, my thing on Be Exposed, she has definitely been a supporter.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. And then when you get supporters like that, you get other ones that come along. But I do agree. Like even he watched the show last week. He's definitely been active.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely is fam. All of that is always appreciated. Any type of support, because we said that a little bit in here, right? We said it all before, is that we do not take support lightly because unfortunately, it's unlikely that you get it. So,
and right, and I do this show in particular too because I look. My whole entire motto is to give voice to the voiceless, right? So that's why I even do this whole entire station. But my whole entire point of this show in particular is to talk about things that are not normally talked about. The stuff that you actually are not even is not even nowhere on your radar. And stuff
right.
like not voting and people that are telling me that they're not voting for stupid situations and stuff like that is the reason why I get up in the morning, because I need to understand why you got to the mindset of you're not voting. And more than likely, the first time I heard that, it was from somebody that said, because the government doesn't do anything for me. Since when? I remember when you was unemployed, bitch. You was right down to social services. So how the fuck you figure that out? Like, where the fuck did you get that notion from? Because you said you didn't stop the food stamps from coming in your pocket. So the
Okay.
government was doing that. And then you get unemployment too when you got fired. I heard you got
Government
unemployment.
EPT
That's
me,
another
please.
government agency, baby. So what are you talking about? I don't get it. And then wait a minute. Then when you lost your job, didn't you go get rental assistance and BGE assistance from the MEAT program? Those are government programs, bitch. So what the fuck is you talking about? So why are you not out here voting again? I'm sorry. I would like to have your social security card so I can tear that bitch up. I gotta go, y'all. That's what I'm
Why you turn it up for everybody else because you won't vote?
That's how I'm gonna leave the show right there. Give me your social security card. I'm gonna tear that bitch up.
Okay, give it to me.
You don't deserve it. If you're not voting, you don't deserve it. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Chaz Real, the Lady April's Cake Mix, will be here on Thursday at 7 p.m. with You Better Live right here on Be Exposed Radio and beexposedmedia.com. Good night.